Most people think their problem is the strategy. They think they need a better deal, a better marketing funnel, a better property model. But what if the real problem isn't the business? What if it's the mindset of the person running it? Today's guest worked 90 hours a week. From the outside, he looked busy, successful, in demand. But from the inside, stressed, burnt out, had cash flow issues, was robbing Peter to pay Paul. And here's the bit that stuck with us. It wasn't the lack of skill. It wasn't that he wasn't a good tradesman. It was that he hadn't learned how to become a businessman. Craig Wilkinson is a joiner by trade who built, scaled, and sold a highly profitable construction company. Since then, he's coached over 30,000 trades and construction business owners, helping them build businesses that give them time and financial freedom, not just another job with more stress. And today we're not talking about a get-rich-quick property tactic. We're talking about the shift, the mindset change, the systems, the routines, the uncomfortable lessons that most people never see. If you're in any business environment, if you feel busy but not free, this episode might hit closer to home than you could expect. This is the Proper Property Podcast. Let's get into it. Right, so welcome, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Johnny.
Thank you for coming on. So before we get into the wins, do you want to take us back to when you were working the 90-hour weeks and what life were like back then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you know, I'm a carpenter and joiner by trade. Set up my business back in 1994, self-employed joiner. Had this idea of becoming a multimillionaire, you know, having loads of time on my hands like we do when we first set up a business. And then fast forward 12 years and I'd just become that ultimate busy fool. I'd made every classic mistake you can make as a business owner. Working stupid hours, sacrificing that quality time that I should have been spending with my family. Not knowing how to price jobs properly because I didn't understand the numbers in my business, having no systems in place, employing the wrong members of staff, taking on premises and loads of vans and overheads going crazy. And ultimately ended up being that busy fool that I think most business owners end up becoming if they don't structure the business the right way.
I think that is a great point, that you can create a job for yourself. I know I've done it myself. You become this entrepreneur, businessman, and you look a few years down the line and all you've actually done is created a job for yourself and not a business. But I know from knowing you myself as well that one of your biggest things that you talk about is creating that business. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about how you structure the businesses? Because I know you're massive on systems and systemization.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I suppose it unfolded whereby after them 12 years of being that busy fool, I got to a point where I just can't continue any longer. You know, we're turning over millions of pounds, got 14 vans on road. Everybody from outside in used to look at me thinking he must be doing all right for himself. But truth be told, it were killing me. So what I did is 19 years ago is I brought somebody called a business coach into my business. And I had absolutely no idea what a business coach were back then. But I brought this business coach in and he sat me down and he said, right, have you got a business plan? No, I've just been winging it. Do you understand the numbers in your business? No, I just hope that at the end of every month there's enough money left in bank to pay me. What's your marketing strategy like? And back then we didn't have social media. You know, websites has only just come on scene. So it's like, well, it's more word of mouth. And it's like, well, what about your team? How are you employing your team? And I'm like, well, I'm busy. So I need more joiners. I need more brickies. I need more plasterers, plumbers, electricians. And that were it. And he said to me, there's no wonder you're stressed out at max, robbing Peter to pay Paul and working 90 hours a week. What I'm going to teach you is how to structure a business the right way. And for the first 18 months of working with him, we went through the 5 core elements of building a business, which is number 1, mindset. Mindset is the single most important part of business and life. Number 2 is having the plan and the vision. Number 3 is time management. Number 4 is knowing the numbers in the business, so we're making profit. And number 5 is your systems, and making sure that you're building a business that's systemized and as automated as it can be. So therefore you can delegate the low value tasks and delegate the running of the business to other people, freeing up your time as the business owner to focus on high value tasks. So for the first 18 months to 2 years of working with this business coach, that's exactly what we focused on.
Amazing. I'll be totally honest with you. I have been looking forward to you coming on this podcast ever since you said you wanted to come on. I knew how amazing you'd be. Honestly, we've never actually met in person, have we?
Maybe at our events, but then I delegated the running of my events.
That's what I mean.
I delegated all the running events.
So just a bit of background for people watching the podcast. You had, or still might have, Elite Business Academy.
That's right. Yeah.
And when I started my business nearly 5 years ago, I found Elite Business Academy, and I think it was your daughter Emily who was running it, and Harry, I think.
Yeah.
They were both running it. And that's honestly what got me out of my skin. I'd never spoken in public before. I'd never been at a networking event, really. I'd heard of networking, and I'd heard of things that businesses were doing. I wanted to get out there and tell people what it was that I was doing. And honestly, I genuinely want to say thank you to you for even creating that, because that is what got me started. I started at EBA. I told people what I did, spoke it out loud into the universe, because that's what I got taught to do.
Yeah.
Don't keep it to yourself, because no one knows who you are unless you speak it out loud. And yeah, that's why I am where I am today. So massive thank you for that. So less about me. This is your podcast. And let's go back then. In those first 12 years, what was the biggest lie that you told yourself?
The biggest lie that I think I told myself is, this is going to be easy, because I think everybody who sets a business up, although they know it's going to be daunting because it's the fear of the unknown that they're going into, I think everybody automatically thinks that they're going to become millionaires and they're going to have all this time on their hands. So I think the biggest lie, or one of the lies, was I thought it were going to be a lot easier than I thought it were going to be. And the one thing that I didn't do, which I know now I should have done, is develop me as a person first. Because what we have to understand in, business and in life, is you as a person have got to be growing quicker than your business. And if you're not, and the business is ahead of you, and the business is growing quicker than you personally, then the business is going to control every aspect of your business in your life. Everything down to the amount of hours that you're working, down to the amount of money that you're earning, taking out your business, and even down to your lifestyle, the house you live in, the car you drive, the holidays you go on. And I didn't invest into me. So the biggest lie was, one, thinking it was going to be easy, and two, not investing into me and just constantly growing this business because I got work to go at. And that's the biggest lie that I was telling myself. I needed help. But underneath it all, I didn't realise, I didn't accept that I needed help, because I'm a man, I've got pride, I'm a proud man. I didn't want to ask for help, but deep down I knew that something was going drastically wrong in this business.
And at what point did you realise that enough were enough? What actually sparked that change?
I think there were two things. One is the business cost me my first marriage. So here's me working every hour God sends to try and build a better quality of life for me and my family, and it actually did the opposite. So I lost my marriage. My kids were taken away from me, type of thing, and went to live somewhere else. That were a big wake-up call. And then the next big wake-up call, and can I share a quick story with you?
Yeah, please.
Right. The next big wake-up call with this, I'm driving down Abbey Lane in Sheffield, and the phone rang, and it was my wife, Sarah, my second wife. I got married beyond after that. So she rung me and said, "Where are you?" I says, "I'm just coming down Abbey Lane." She said, "You better pull over." I said, "Why?" She said, "Just pull over." Now, this was going back in early days when mobile phones had just come out, but we still had checks. Customers were still writing checks. So it was a Wednesday, and I pulled over. I said, "What's the matter?" And she went, "You're not going to believe this. The check that we'd just got from a big extension that we've been building is bounced. Check's bounced." And this is on a Wednesday, and the check had to clear on the Wednesday because I got 17 members of staff's wages to pay on the Friday. A check had bounced. So I'm sat there in a lay-by on Abbey Lane, and this is straight up, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I put my head on the steering wheel. I had this gut-wrenching feeling of ultimate failure because now I've got to tell 17 people I ain't got the money to pay the wages this week. And no matter what I'd done, is I'd always got the money somehow to pay the wages. This is the first time I'd never done it. And I just sat in my van, put my head on my steering wheel, and just broke down crying because this business had just consumed me. And I thought, how can it get to this point? I've not done anything wrong to anyone. I've not ripped anyone off. I've done everything with integrity. How can it be that I'm broke and I'm skint? Everybody wants a piece of me. I'm the last one to get paid. And I just couldn't cope with it anymore. So I just broke down crying in a lay-by. 36-year-old grown-ass man crying his eyes out in a lay-by. So I pulled away from lay-by, and as you go down Abbey Lane, there's crossroads at Beachy traffic lights, and I was that far gone, I just thought, I'm going through these lights. I've had enough. I've just had enough. I can't cope any longer. So I put my foot down, closed my eyes, and went straight through red lights. And I thought, at that point, I'm a goner. But that's what got, and it still gets me emotional today. It got me. I pulled up on the other side, pulled in near Beachy Hotel, and I thought, what have I just done? I've got 2 kids. I've got a wife. What have I just done? So at that point, I went home and I said, I can't do this anymore. Something's got to change. I either walk away from this business that's causing me all this pain, or I need help. I just started networking, and I'd met this business coach, and I'm like, what's he going to tell me? But I was that desperate for help. I said to Sarah, it's my last chance to sort this out. So we remortgaged his house. We took a boatload of money out of equity out of his house. And I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to invest all this into knowledge, coaching, training, whatever I need to do to get to where I need to do. I need help. I need knowledge. And it was that business coach that taught me the first thing you've got to do, Craig, is shift that negative mindset. Because if you don't change that mindset, no matter what I teach you or whatever I tell you, if your mindset is closed and negative, you're not going to believe it's going to happen. And that was the catalyst and the trigger for me opening up and saying, I need help.
I think you'll always attract what you speak out. If you like you say, if your mindset is negative and you're speaking negative about yourself as well, I find a lot of people put themselves down. I'm guilty of it. You've been guilty of it. We put ourselves down, and we even jokingly sometimes will say things about ourselves in a negative way. Your mind don't know any different. It thinks that something's wrong. It thinks that you are what you are. You are what you say. And it is important. I'm a massive believer in manifestation. I think manifesting it, believing it will happen, beyond belief. Like I personally remember when I started the media business, I think I was 7 months in, 2 kids at the time, and making about 200 quid a month. It was barely putting lights on, to be fair. And I knew. I just knew. I kept going, and I just know that this is me. This is what I was meant to do. I know that this has got to work. And I know, like yourself, I did end up at a point where I were working too much on the business, in the business rather than on the business. But I did learn from things that you've done, systems that you've put in place, and even down to, I know we joked about it before, but even down to like having your Calendly set up and your bio links. All these things buy you that time. All the small things, systemizing, having booking systems in place, everything's online that people can not have to, you don't have to have a 20-minute phone call with someone to get just a booking. The bookings are done. So everything's systemized like that. And it makes things so much easier, and it's buying your time back.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important. And mindset matters so much. Massive believer in that. So what does becoming a businessman actually mean?
I think anybody who sets a business up can call themselves a businessman or a businesswoman. But there's a difference between having a business that gives you time and financial freedom, which is where I'm at now, compared to being deep in the business with the business relying on you to do everything every single day. So the definition of a business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that runs without you. So people that get the business to a point where it's running without them, or gets to a point where the business owner has got a choice on whether they want to work or not, that's a business. If your business relies on you doing most of the work, earning all of the money, and, you know, as I were back then, putting every nail in, sawing every piece of timber, fitting every piece of plasterboard, if it relies on you, you've not got a business. You've just created yourself the world's toughest job. But to get to that point where you are technically time and financial free, I believe there's 4 steps that every business person needs to go through. And this is one of the formulas, if you like, that I teach, but this takes 12 months. But step number 1 is always mindset. Everything starts with mindset. You know, I saw a post of yours, Johnny, on Facebook last week, actually, of you at that event that you just mentioned, tagging me and saying, I can't believe it, this memory's popped up. This was the first ever event I spoke at. And I remember you coming to events, and you were new to it. You were like a duck fish out of water, and you were new to it. But then when I look at what you've created now with everything that you've got and your success today, that's not happened with Johnny having the same mindset as he did when he first walked in that room networking event years ago. What's changed in Johnny is your mindset. You've had to change your mindset to become a different person. So number 1, everything's about mindset. Everything's about personal development, morning routines, evening routines, rituals to keep you on that path. When we expand that mindset and we develop a growth mindset where we're unstoppable and we can run through brick walls no matter what's going to happen, the next part of the formula, step number 2, is motivation. Because if we're not motivated in our business, then we're not going to get results. And as I found, and many business owners have found, that sometimes motivation gets pulled out of us in his business because there's that many things to do. There's that many challenges that we have. There's that many obstacles and hurdles that we've got to overcome. Motivation sometimes drops. Sometimes we hit that snooze button and we can't be asked to get out of bed in the morning. You know, sometimes we're not motivated because the business is consuming us that much that we're falling out of love with his business. I know I did with mine. I got to a point where I hated my business. I didn't want to get up in the morning because of the grief that it gave me. So if that's our level of motivation, nothing's going to work. Step number 3 is education. Because if we're not learning new knowledge and learning new strategies, such as everybody you have on your great podcast, always learning, we're never going to be able to develop ourselves to move as businesses forward because we're stuck with the knowledge that we've got, and the knowledge that we've got is not going to get us to where we want to be. So we've got to submerge yourself in new knowledge. And the final equation is action. Because if we don't take action, nothing's going to change. We know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we've got to take massive action. And I don't just mean, oh, I'll do this today, or I'm on about submerging yourself, constant, relentless pursuit of success. You've got to take action. And if we bolt them 4 things together, we'll eventually get to where we want to be. But if you've got the wrong mindset or a negative mindset, you're not going to get there. If you haven't got the motivation to get your lazy ass out of bed in the morning because you're hitting snooze button, you're never going to get there. If you're not learning and consuming new knowledge and getting mentors and coaches, watching YouTube, podcasts, audio books, you're not going to get there. And the final one, if you don't take action, you're going to stay stuck where you are. So if you combine them and bolt them together, that's the recipe for success.
Amazing. I couldn't agree more, honestly. And one of the things that I know you touched on there is health. I really wanted to talk about your health and fitness. So I know you quit drinking 3 years ago, is it?
Yep.
That is amazing. So you've been sober for 3 years.
I have, yeah.
Honestly, well done, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, what an achievement. And I think as well, when people tell me things like that, and I've known like alcoholics in the past, and I've known drug users and things like that. And do you know, to hear that lifestyle change when you recognise that maybe something needs to be done, and going to gym, I've seen your fitness journey as well.
Yep.
I think, have you got a PT?
Yeah.
And watching your fitness journey as well. One of the things that I've more recently come to realise is that we are the business. With or without us actually working in it, we are the business. We need to look after our health. We need to look after our fitness, diet, and I think that is one of the most important things. And have you noticed growth around you from doing that, from where you were just over 3 years ago to today?
Absolutely. I mean, it's, 3 years ago, I'd say that I were good. I were in a good place, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I were in a good place. Businesses, I've got 4 businesses, all doing incredibly well, making money. But what happened with me, I'm 55 now, but when I hit 50, something happened inside me that I weren't expecting. And I hit 50 and I thought, do you know what, Craig? You're well past halfway through in your life. And when I look, the average male in UK only lives to 78-year-old on average. So I'm thinking 5 years ago, blimey, I've only got 28 years left in me. And I've got 4 wonderful kids. I've got 3 amazing grandkids. And I'm like, I want to see them grow up. I want to be there as long as I can. And although my lifestyle wasn't that bad back then, I'm like, there's one word that came to my mind and it's still lodged in it now, and that word is longevity. Everything I do right now is for longevity. How can I stay on this planet as long as I can to see the rest of my life through and influence my kids and my grandkids and anybody else around me? So at 50-year-old, I thought, right, I need to sort myself out. So I got a PT. 18 months later, I did a photo shoot in gym, sort of like coming up to 52-year-old. And then I thought, right, I've done that. I'm fittest I'd been in a long time. I was 52-year-old. I got a 6-pack and all that stuff going off. And then I thought, right, what else can I do for longevity? And don't get me wrong, I'd not got a problem with alcohol like our alcoholic. But being honest, like most people, since 20-year-old, I've come home, straight to the fridge, open a bottle of beer, 3 or 4 beers later, and that's what I've done all my life. Weekends, go to match with my mates and go and have a gallon on a Saturday, parties and stag do's, all that lot. I've done it all. But then I thought to myself, could I stop drinking alcohol? Because the benefits of what I'd been seeing with other people were like taking everything to a whole new level. But I'm thinking to myself, really? What, you're going to stop? You've tried to stop in past before and it's like, I'll have a beer or I'll go out with lads at weekend. But because I got this word longevity in me, my purpose and my why had shifted. because it weren't just about me anymore. It were about how can I stay on this planet for my kids and my grandkids. So the purpose and the goal had changed. So I made a decision in December 2022, Boxing Day. I got up and I said, that's me done. And Sarah said to me, yeah. How many times have I heard you say that over the years? We've all said it, haven't we? Yeah. We've all said after an hangover, I'm not drinking again. But I got up with a different purpose and I've packed in drinking alcohol. The benefits are insane. As in, people look at me now and go, other than grey beard, they go, Craig, you're reversing age. Your wrinkles, your crow's feet and everything are gone. You look fit and healthy. I sleep like a baby. My head hits that pillar, I am gone. I'm out. I sleep in a heavy sleep like a baby. But on top of that, the focus, I thought I was focused before, but the focus that I've now got on every aspect, life and business, it's like on steroids. And this adds up, Johnny, because when I look at the last 3 years and we look at all our financial end-of-year accounts on all the businesses, profits have gone up, but I don't mean gone up. I mean gone up more in this last 3 years as a percentage than ever. And all
you dialed in.
I'm dialed in. That my mindset's right, my health's right, my well-being's right. No drinking alcohol. I watch what I eat. I exercise. I've got PT, and I'm 55-year-old and I've got a six-pack. Yet these people out.
You can show them.
Compare. Should we compare?
Mate, honestly, it's really good to see. And I think sometimes you have to have that little, like an epiphany. You have to have that epiphany to make change. And there is always that thing of, I'll do it on Monday. I'll start on Monday. People say that all the time, like, I'm going to go to the gym, but I'll start on Monday. I'll do it next week. Next week just never comes. And I think you have got to, and you've got to want to do it. I know you say you're doing it for your kids and your grandkids, but solely you have got to want to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You have got to want that change and want to make that change. And again, mindset. Once you get into that mindset, I've done it myself, thankfully, because of my cousin. I just saw how well my cousin were doing, and I were exactly the same. I was like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? And same again, I've started going to the gym. I feel loads better. I'm not a big drinker anyway, so I don't think it'd get rid of my crow's feet. Me not drinking, they're just there for life. But yeah, no, it's honestly, it's been amazing to watch your journey. When obviously when I first heard of you were already doing well, but now you're just like you're up there doing amazing. Want to talk a little bit about your trades freedom then?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. Explain to everybody what trades freedom is and what it can do for them as well.
Yeah, well, going back to 2012, after selling I built that construction business, what I was talking about, where I had all them problems. I ended up building it, growing it, and selling it, and setting me and my family up financially for life. So it went from one extreme to another. That was back in 2012. And then I had loads and loads of subbies and trades lads that used to work for me go, how the hell have you done it? I remember you being that busy fool, skin broke, working 7 days a week. Now look at you. How have you done it? So what I did is I kept telling people, right, you need to shift your mindset. I'm not bothered about all that nonsense. Just tell me how to make more money and work less hours. And I say, I can tell you, but until you shift that, nothing's going to change. And I got that many people asking me. I decided to hire a little backstreet working men's club called Davy Sports Club at Darnell. They got a room for hire and it were about 50 quid. So I said to them all, right, there's 20 of you asking me how I've done it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire this room. Bear in mind, this is back in 2012. I'd never done any coaching, mentoring or anything. I said, meet me at 2:00, Backstreet Working Men's Club, Darnell. They put pie and peas on for that as well. And come and I'll teach you how I started doing it all. So me and a mate of mine, Andy Cam, a plumber, we got down there, set room up, and I was like that. I'd never done anything like this before. I was terrified. And it got to 5 to 2, and there weren't a single person there. And I said to Andy, no one's going to rock up. It's been an absolute waste of time. Then one by one, all vans started pulling into the car park and 20 of them rocked up. So on that first session, we did a bit of networking. I said, you all know me, but you don't know each other. So let's get networking. Right, first thing I'm going to go through is mindset shift and business planning. So a couple of weeks after doing that, they were messaging me and ringing me up saying that were brilliant. That architect I met has now given me work. That builder that I met has now given me work. So they were networking and passing work to each other. And then they were saying, oh, we started shifting his mindset. We've got a morning routine now and all this. Can we do it again next month? So I said, yeah. So we did it again the following month and then the following month. And then I thought, hang on a minute, is there something in this? So back in 2012, I started coaching and mentoring trades business owners to build, grow and scale the businesses. That then turned into Elite Business Academy. And then from Elite Business Academy, we set up the Trades Freedom Club. So the Trades Freedom Club is an organisation where tradesmen and women can come to and get all the marketing, business coaching, systems, building your team, how to understand your numbers, how to price your jobs, how to make money. We teach them all this, but in a very positive community. And that as an organisation has now grown to become the UK's largest trades and construction mentoring and coaching organisation. So that's what it is. We've got a free Facebook group. I've got my own podcast. We've got a membership. We've got coaching programs. We build websites. We do SEO. We do branding for them. So we've pulled it all together so they can get everything that they want to grow the business from one organisation that's trusted and knows what they're doing.
Nice. Got Fixed Radio as well. I think you missed that bit.
Yeah, so Fixed Radio, which is the UK's largest radio station for builders, absolutely massive. They get about 1 million viewers and listeners a week now. So they asked me to go on a couple of their shows to give some advice, which I did. And then they approached me last year and said, we want you as one of our presenters. So now I'm Fixed Radio's business and marketing coach. So they're technically 1 million listeners that tune in every week.
Nice, immense. What a journey. Honestly, mate, what a journey. Right, so let's, we could sit here and talk forever. Let's break it down into, I know you keep talking about mindset and routine. Tell us a day in your life then. What's your morning routine look like?
Yeah, well, before I share it with you, I'm not saying anybody's got to do my morning routine, right? Because what I do now is different because my kids are older. I can get up earlier. So I'm not saying that anybody has to do what I do, but I'll share what I do just in case it helps everybody else. So my morning routine works like this. I am up 4 a.m. to 4:15 a.m. every morning, 7 days a week, no alarm clock needed. I don't need an alarm clock to get me out of bed. My why, my passion, my goals, my determination gets me out of bed. So I'm up 4 to 4:15. What I then do is I do affirmations, so little mini statements over and over and over again to myself before I get out of bed, telling me how the day's going to be. I then got a gratitude journal that I write in at the side of my bed. So before I get out of bed and my feet have touched the ground, the carpet, the universe, I always write down in my gratitude journal 10 things I'm grateful for every single day. Because even when things are going wrong for us, we can still find gratitude in things. So I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. I then get up, go downstairs. I do 10 minutes of meditation, which is on an app called headspace.com. Brilliant app. Then what I'll do is I'll have my breakfast, which is a healthy breakfast. Then what I'll do then is I've got a 15-minute drive to the gym. So while I'm driving to the gym, I'm listening to either motivational or educational content in my car. I get to the gym, I do an hour's worth of training exercise with a PT. When I drive home from gym, I'm listening to motivational educational content. So I'm generally back in house for 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's game on. It's game on. But then there's other business owners that are still hitting snooze button at 7 o'clock in the morning. So how are they supposed to, not that this is a competition, but how are they supposed to compete if their competitors are doing what I'm doing, but they're still hitting snooze button at 7 o'clock in the morning, they're never going to win that race. And I do that 7 days a week. I don't go to gym 7 days a week. I'll go to gym 4 to 5 days a week, but everything else is 7 days a week. And that is regimented. It's like a ritual every single morning.
That is immense. I am guilty of hitting the snooze button, I'm not going to lie. But I have got better. And I think also I have got better since starting to work out and starting to eat healthier. I now find it more easier to get up earlier. And the one of wanting to succeed, wanting everything that I believe I deserve because of the work that I've put in.
Yep.
Yeah. But 4 a.m.
And this is why I say, you know, we started a new coaching program literally this month where I've got 20 joiners, builders, plumbers, plasterers, electricians, etc. They join my 12-month program. So I'm saying to them, I'm explaining this to them, but we'll obviously go into more detail. But I say to them, look, that works for me now where I'm at. But you don't have to do that, because I remember when my kids were young, you know, I didn't want to get out of bed because you know that squeaky floorboard on landing that you stand on and then next minute kids are crying and they wake up.
Yeah.
I couldn't do any of that back then, so that wouldn't have worked. But all I say to them is, look, we need to change that mindset. We need to get more motivated. Something's got to shift and change starting now. So all I ask them to do is introduce one new good habit into the morning routine. That could be getting up and going for a walk. That could be doing a gratitude journal, listening to a podcast. Just do one thing. And then when that becomes a good habit over a period of weeks, and it's the norm, then bolt something else on. But don't try and do it all in a oneer, because you'll set yourself up for failure.
Yeah. One of my favourite books is The Compound Effect.
Dan Hardy.
Yeah.
Darren Hardy,
yeah. Literally 1% wins. Just keep adding them 1% up.
Yep.
You don't need to go all in. You go all in and you'll struggle. You'll be overwhelmed, little by little, and you'll get to that 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, really like that. So we'll start to wrap up soon. If there's someone that is watching or listening, what is your best piece of advice for anybody out there that does find themselves that busy fool? What is your best piece of advice for them?
Yeah. Well, number one, you've got to change your mindset, because I'm not saying that if you're busy or you're working long hours, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. It's their life. You've got 168 hours in a week. You can use them how you like. But ultimately, I don't think anybody wants to be working stupid hours. Now, your mindset has brought you to where you are today, and no doubt you'll be doing very well. But to make that shift and change, your mindset's got to change. I keep coming back to this one word because it's the catalyst to change. So number one, I'd be saying, start developing yourself. Look at your morning routines. Take some of the things that I've just maybe suggested and start introducing them. But ultimately, you've got to personally develop yourself so you're in front of the business, or so otherwise the business will keep controlling you. And that's what many business owners find themselves doing. So one is 100% submerge yourself into personal development. The second one I'd say is set yourself preservation goals. And what I mean by a preservation goal is you're going to set yourself some personal goals that under no circumstances you're going to sacrifice in pursuit of growing your business. And things like this, Johnny, I'm sure that every business owner had hobbies once upon a time, but the hobbies fall by wayside because the business then takes over that time, or they're not motivated to go and do the hobby. So if you start setting yourself preservation goals, what we're not going to break, hobby, date night with your husband, wife or partner. When the last time did we go out and spend some quality time together? If we've got to get babysitters, get babysitters. Not working weekends. My phone gets switched off on a Friday. I'm not going to work weekend. I'm going to dedicate that time to my family or my friends or my hobbies. Committing to not working till 10 o'clock at night and ignoring your kids and not reading them a bedtime story because you've got your head down in paperwork. So there's all these things that are going off. But if we set goals that we want to achieve personally and we don't allow the business to break them, we're going to start to make that shift from being a busy fool, constantly working in the business, to hang on a minute, this is my time. This is my time to go to the gym. This is my time to take my husband, wife, or partner out for a meal away from kids. And you put that into what we call a default diary. All of the defaulted things that you know you've got to do every week for you, not your business, for you, you put them in your diary and nothing moves them. And start putting yourself and your family before your business. Because time is the most valuable currency we've got. But so many of us right now are spending time in his business, which I get, but not at the sacrifice of his family and his own health and well-being. That has to come first. You're no good to anyone if you're a burnt out person that ain't got motivation to inspire your own family. So it's not the business goals that come first, it's your own preservation goals that have to come first.
I feel like you're talking to me personally.
Well, it's most really business owners.
It really does it. We do find ourselves falling wayside to the hardships of running the business, keeping the business going, making sure everybody in the business is fed, and your wife and kids and your partner and kids do seem to just get left behind. I was thinking it the other day, actually. I did a short bio on things what I did, and I was putting in my hobbies and my interests, and I was writing them down, and I thought, I ain't done any of this in so long. Like golf. I used to love going out on my motorbike. I was like, I ain't done anything for myself in at least a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? I just feel like I've blinked and I'm here.
It isn't. When you think of the fact that we have only got 168 hours in a week, we wake up on a Monday morning, as eyes wake up, our time bank's ticking. That's it, 168 hours. You've got no more or less than me. So it's how we invest them hours into that week that bears fruit. And we've all done it. We put that much time and effort into his business and that much passion into our new baby that we've just conceived and we're growing and nurturing, that sometimes we don't invest time into the other things that matter most to us, like ourselves. The me time. When do people have time for themselves? I speak to some people and they go, do you know what, Craig? And I can't remember last day, I just took off for myself and just went out walking in lakes or whatever. I'd love to do that. And I said, well, what's stopping you? I ain't got time. I said, no, you have got time. You've got 168 hours in a week, the exact same as me. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and telling you to work the amount of hours that you're working. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying you've got to put your business before your own health and your family. You're choosing to do it because you've conditioned yourself that that's the way in which we should work in a business. And that's not the way in which we should work. That's just got busy fool wrote all over it.
Yeah.
But we condition ourselves to think we've got to work every hour God sends because this is what's going to make us successful. It's not. What's going to make you successful is being happy in life. And ultimately, I think everybody is searching for success. But underneath all that, it's just about being happy. It's just about being happy. And the car, the house, the money, the holidays and all that lot, you think it's going to make you happy, but when you get it, it's like, oh, I've done that now, what next? And then you're left with this emptiness inside. So we've got to use this time and spend it on the people that matter most, which is you and your family.
100%. Well, I don't think there's a better way to end it. Thank you so much for coming on, Craig. Honestly, absolute pleasure, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If anybody does want to get in touch with you, do you want to do a little bit of a plug?
Yeah, I mean, they can find me. Best thing to do is find me on Facebook, personally, Craig Wilkinson. Or if you search the Trades Freedom Club on Facebook or any social media platform. And if anybody wants to get more knowledge like this, particularly if you're a tradesperson, if you search for Rise of the Trades podcast on Spotify and Apple, I'm sure you'll find it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. And if anybody else is listening out there and this does resonate with them, Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening and watching. See you soon.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.